Hello everyone and welcome back. In the last lecture, we explored the characteristics of philosophy: rational, critical, universal, normative, dynamic and integrative. Now in this session, we are going to look at an interesting question: is philosophy just advanced common sense or is it something deeper? Let's explore the relationship between common sense and philosophy. First, let's start with the basics. What is common sense? Common sense is the kind of practical knowledge that ordinary people use in everyday life. It's the wisdom we apply without deep reflection based on experience and tradition. Don't touch fire, it will burn you. If it is cloudy and dark, it might rain. Hard work pays off. These are not the results of deep research or philosophical inquiry. They are practical lessons drawn from daily experiences, cultural practices and inherited wisdom. Common sense helps us survive and make quick decisions without needing to analyze every detail. Limitation of a common sense, but here is the problem. Common sense is limited. It is often based on personal experience which may not be universal. It can be shaped by cultural beliefs, biases, superstitions. Sometimes it is even contradictory. Common sense once said, the earth is flat. Common sense said, the sun revolves around the earth. Common sense in medicine once promoted harmful practices like bloodletting. So, while common sense is practical, it's not always reliable. What is philosophy in contrast? Philosophy, on the other hand, is systematic, critical and reflective thinking. Philosophy does not just accept things as they appear, it asks why and how. It is not based only on immediate experiences but on reason, logic and evidence. Philosophy questions even the assumptions of common sense. For example, where common sense says the sun rises in the east, philosophy and science together explain actually the earth rotates, creating the appearance of sunrise. Where common sense says everyone should just follow traditions, philosophy asks, but are those traditions just? Are they ethical? So, philosophy digs deeper beyond appearances to uncover truth. Relationship between common sense and philosophy. Now, does that mean philosophy rejects common sense? Not at all. Philosophy often begins with common sense observations, but then it refines them, questions them and goes beyond them. Common sense says people die, life is short. Philosophy says what is the meaning of life and death? How do we live a good life? Common sense says we should treat others fairly. Philosophy says what is fairness? What is justice? Are all people truly equal? So, philosophy is like a higher level reflection on the raw material of common sense. Let's take a research example. Common sense might say if a medicine works for my neighbor, it should work for me. Philosophy and science inspired by it asks, is this true for everyone? Have we tested it under controlled conditions? What does evidence say? Another example, common sense may say, copying a few sentences from an article is fine if I am in a hurry. Philosophy of ethics says, but isn't that plagiarism? Isn't it honesty a value higher than convenience? So, in research ethics, philosophy challenges us to move beyond shortcuts of common sense and adopt rigorous principled thinking. Why this matters for researchers? As a researchers, we cannot rely on common sense alone. Common sense may be enough to guide daily decisions, but research requires critical reflections, systematic reasoning and ethical awareness, all of which are philosophical. That's why understanding the distinction between common sense and philosophy is crucial for a journey in academia. Let's summarize what we learned today. Common sense is everyday practical wisdom, often based on experience and tradition. It is useful but limited, sometimes even misleading. Philosophy goes beyond common sense. It is systematic, logical and critical. In research, we cannot rely on common sense shortcuts. We must adapt the deeper reasoning of philosophy. In the next unit, We will build on this and explore the relationship between philosophy and science and discover why science was once called natural philosophy. Thank you for joining me in this session. Here is a quick activity for you. Think of one belief that you hold that comes from common sense. Now ask yourself, if I were to examine this belief philosophically, what questions would I ask? Share your thoughts in the comments and let's discuss. See you in the next lecture. Thank you.